Being pregnant after 2 miscarriages feels like you're constantly waiting for the other shoe to fall. I wanted to believe it's real, that at the end of the 9 months, I was going to be cuddling an adorable baby boy. I wanted to trust that the doctor is correct, that he's healthy and growing just right, and that there was a light at the end of the tunnel. But how could I? Before my first miscarriage, I had created so many dreams and hopes for my child, and I was so excited to meet my child who I affectionately nicknamed Poppy. It never occurred to me that I would miscarry. I didn't know that 1 in 4 women will miscarry, that I would be 1 in 4. With my second miscarriage, I barely had a chance to get excited before I learned I would miscarry. It is so hard to trust that anything can work out when you've battled infertility and miscarriages. It's hard to believe that there is hope and potential. I have bawled, screamed, cried at the world at the sheer unfairness of it all, especially when I'd see on Facebook that other people were pregnant and had given birth. I've raged against the fact that everyone I knew seemed to get pregnant easily, and yet here I was struggling, and I didn't know why. I worried if this will keep happening to me. I struggle with the question of, was there anything I could have done differently? Is it my fault that this happened to me? For all that high school makes you think you will get pregnant at a drop of a hat, it can feel quite impossible. My husband and I decided to try IVF after our second miscarriage. We were able to get 10 embryos, but by the end of the process, we had 3 embryos. When we did the embryo transfer, the doctor told us that this was embryo number 5 out of the original 10. My husband joked, "Number 5 alive," from the 80s movie Short Circuit, and the doctor laughed. I hadn't seen the movie before, but my husband made sure I watched it. From that moment on, our embryo was nicknamed number 5, and I was hoping that this was a good sign, that this was that the line was number 5 alive. It was. Within 2 weeks, I found out I was pregnant. I was over the moon, but petrified of the potential of another miscarriage. In the beginning, I was constantly checking for signs of miscarriage. What's that little dot? Is it blood? Something else? I'd stare at the online miscarriage prediction rates by week and breathe a sigh of relief that each week that had passed. I went for weekly heartbeat checks until about 20 weeks. For that day, my mind was at ease, knowing his heartbeat was strong. But then I started getting anxious throughout the week leading up to the next appointment. Then, when I was told he was going to start kicking, and I wouldn't need heartbeat checks, anxiety kicked in again. What if I don't know if he's kicking or not? I knew. Why is he not kicking? Because fetuses sleep 16 hours a day. Will eating this harm him in some way? Probably not. I would ask myself repeatedly and seek reassurance if doing everyday normal activities would cause a miscarriage or a stillbirth. Not likely. My anxiety and OCD during a normal time can be exhausting, but being pregnant seemed to exacerbate everything, especially during a pandemic. Being pregnant during a pandemic, take all the feelings and multiply them by 1,000,000 as we began to socially isolate. I had imagined before getting pregnant the baby showers, the stories I would have of showing off my belly, being able to spend time with my family and friends, taking a birthing class with my husband, being able to plan for a bris. I never imagined I'd be working from home and not being able to see anyone besides my husband and cats for days and weeks at a time. I never imagined giving birth in the hospital without having visitors. I certainly never imagined a maternity leave where I'd be sitting at home and not be able to meet other moms and join mommy and me groups. But we figured it out despite my anxiety. I had an online baby shower with my coworkers and another with my in-laws. And I have a future sip and see with my friends next month for my friends to meet Silas. My husband and I found online birthing classes and spent a week going through the material. My best friend did an impromptu pregnancy photo shoot so I could show off my belly. Rabbi Ira was amazing in helping me plan a Zoom bris, which my family and friends could see Silas. I made sure to sign up for kids' time, and I even met a neighbor with a 2-year-old who invited me out to the park to meet other moms in the neighborhood. My husband and I tell Silas, who is now 2 months old, all the time, how much he is loved, how so very special he is to us. We constantly hug him and kiss him. We know he does not understand our words yet, nor does he know the story of how he came to be, or of his 2 siblings, who we sadly didn't get to meet. One day we will tell him about the journey we took for him to be here, and how he was born in the midst of a pandemic. Because I'm sure he will ask why we were wearing masks when he was born. Until then, we hope he can feel how much he is wanted, and how very grateful and lucky we are for him to be in our lives, and how much, despite every single moment of tears, heartbreak, and pain, I would do it over again to have him.